once out strolling one very hot summer's day, when I thought I'd lay myself down to rest in a big field of tall grass. I lay there in the sun and felt it caressing my face as I fell asleep and dreamed.
Hey, good morning, brochachos, brochachas, and brochachitos. Thanks for tuning back in. I hope you guys enjoyed that short cinematic I started the video off with. That was my summer school class. We were in pursuit of creating the world's biggest bubble, and we got pretty close. We got some pretty big ones, and that was a lot of fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little clip. I just want to get right into the video today, because I want to get this video out of the way so everyone's on the same page, so that I can get into the parts, because that's really what this is about, is giving you guys the details on all that nitty-gritty stuff and all the fine details. So before we get to that point, though, I think it's really important that you guys understand what this build is about, because you can take an Evo a lot of different ways. It's a very practical car. It can be. It's a very dynamic car. So we've got guys that are, we got autocrossers, we've got quarter milers, we got drags, we got the whole thing, and then we've got the daily driver groups, and I fall into that group. So a couple of things to go over about the build. And one of the main things, or actually the main thing here, is you have to realize that I am in California. So I'm in San Diego, and as you guys know, they're really cracking down on modded cars in California, because a couple of bad apples ruined it for everybody, unfortunately. So I'm kind of calling this build like a Cali build, because if I was somewhere else, my build would definitely be different. But because I have to try to survive on the streets, I need to be as much of a sleeper as possible. So that is one of the main factors in the build. When you look at my car, the Evo, from the outside, everything on the outside is stock. I think the only things that would give away that it's not stock would be, we're going to have the new intercooler, which will be bigger. It'll be nice and shiny. So that is one thing that might, attract a little bit. They might have a little bit of a suspicion. Other than that, I run a duckbill trunk. It's carbon fiber. I hope to paint that to color match the rest of the car, so it'll be a little bit more stealthy. Other than that, everything else, I'm running the stock BBS wheels. I love those wheels. Eventually I want to go to a wider offset, but right now, especially while I'm in Cali, I'm really just thinking about running it completely stock, just to stay below the radar. So that is one of the first priorities. The next priority is to maintain the 6-speed. So a lot of people, let's look at the MR. So I have the Evo IX MR, and the Evo went for 10 generations, and they only gave the MR, or they only gave the 6-speed to the MR in 2005 and 2006. So to get away from the 6-speed, it's an awesome transmission. The gear ratios are perfect for daily driving. It's a lot of fun. I've driven the 5-speeds, and there's a lot of times where you're just kind of in, you just wish you had that 6-speed. You wish you had that overdrive when you're on the freeway. You wish you had for daily driving. Like when I'm in an Evo with a 5-speed, most time I'm running like between second and third gear, and that puts you between 30 miles per hour and 45 miles, 50 miles per hour to be comfortably in there around the 3,000 mile or 3,000 RPM range. And with the 6-speed, you're going between third and fourth, and then you've still got 2 extra gears to get going and get to overdrive. It is a completely different experience to be in the 6-speed, and I feel like it's much more fun. It's much more enjoyable, and you're much more in tune with the car, because you always are able to be on the verge of the power band with the 6-speed. So that's really my purpose for maintaining the 6-speed. In the future, I have no intentions of switching to the 5-speed like a lot of you guys do. And the purpose of that is because it's a gem. It's a 6-speed. They only made it, like I said, they made the Evo from 1992 or 1993, and they went all the way to 2015. And yeah, only 2 years of the MRs, only 2 years of the 6-speed. You know, they went to the SST for the Evo X. So I'm trying to retain that and make sure that we keep this Evo true to itself. If we wanted a 5-speed, we would just go buy another Evo with the 5-speed, and then we could make that into like a drag one or whatever. We could build the crazy horsepower numbers. But for my case, I really enjoy the 6-speed, so we need to keep it. And in order to do that, we know that the 6-speed is not capable to handle the same amount of power as the 5-speed, and that's where it gets a lot of flack. But when you're daily driving, is there really a need for, 600, 700, 800 horsepower? For you guys that do it, my hat's off to you. But before the engine went down, I was running like close to 400, just under 400 horsepower and like 350 torque. And to be honest, there wasn't that many opportunities to really wind it out. You really had to search for those opportunities. So in a daily driving application, it's a little bit of overkill. And since the Evo is mainly used for daily driving, occasional canyon runs and things like that, no autocross, no, I'm not going to the track, I'm not running slicks or anything like that, trying to chase quarter-mile times. So for the Evo, for what it is for me, the 6-speed is what needs to be retained. Sorry guys, the wife called me mid video, but I was getting into my next point anyway, which is reliability, and that is a main factor of being a daily driver. I will have other cars that I can utilize, like the one I'm in right now. This is the daily driver, but the daughter's going to get this car, so the Evo will be what I mainly am using. So reliability is a big focus on the build, to be able to take the family wherever we need to go on a day-to-day basis, get to work, get to daycare. That's basically what I do on a day-to-day basis. I do, I got to drive out. I got about a 40-minute drive because I coach club soccer as well. So I got about a 40-minute drive, like 4 or 5 times a week, mostly highway miles. And so that's going to be something as well that I got to worry about. So reliability is a main focus, and the purpose here is, we're going to overbuild. The idea is to have all these components rated for, 800, 900, 1,000 horsepower. Like starting with the block, the Busher 2.0 long rod block is rated for, I think, 1,000 horsepower, which this car will never see 1,000 horsepower. We should see no more than, when it's fully done and fully built, shouldn't see anything more than like 550. I think that's the plan right now. So there's no intentions, but everything, including the fuel components, the fuel system. I'll go over the parts, but basically, like the fuel pump should be rated for 650 with the Walbro 450 that I'm going to use. I think the biggest limiting factor for me will be my fuel injectors. I'm going to be running the 1050, the ID 1050X, and that'll probably be the main thing that limits my powers, which is totally fine, because I wanted a smaller injector for the daily drivability and for the idle and for those purposes. So sorry again, my phone keeps getting cut off by like telemarketers or people calling me, so and then my video turns off. So I'm going to try to end this video here. Let me just recap really quick. So the 3 main parts, and these don't go in any order, but the 3 things that are a priority for this build are the Cali build. We talked about that. Retaining the 6-speed and reliability. One more thing that is big for this build is cleaning everything up in there. And so making it look nice and cleaning it up, so in the future when I need to work on it, it doesn't take me forever to do simple jobs. That was one of my biggest hassles with the stock engine bay, is there's just Mitsubishi, in order to give us the product they were able to give to us, they had to just, you open that hood and it was just like, boom, everything was there. And in order to do simple jobs, you had to take out half the engine bay just to get to certain components, to work on certain parts of the engine bay. So cleaning up the wires and doing the battery relocation and running the short route intercooler piping, all this stuff here, including, I think I'm running like just a stock manifold by FP we'll get into all that stuff, but the idea is to clean everything up so that when I need to wrench on it and do work in the future, it's not a crazy process of taking out half the engine bay and then when I'm done putting it all back together, because that's super tedious and it's unnecessary. So that is another main priority. So I'll end the video here. Thank you guys for listening in on this one. Like I said, we had to get this one out of the way because in order for me to go over the next 2 videos to make sense of why I'm doing those things, it's important to know what's the purpose of this Evo, because like I said, Evos are dynamic. They can go a lot of different directions, so it's important that you know the purpose for my car and why I'll be using it. Other than that, guys, I'll try to get these next videos out. Still waiting on parts. Unfortunately, I think one of the parts is not going to be here till mid next week, so I can probably put out the first video with maybe half the stuff, and then I'm going to have to wait on the next video until I get those parts to come in, and there's a few to go over. So until next time, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you on the next video.